Create your own plant cards. In this tutorial, which is a little longer than average, we show you how to create your own plant cards. If your plant is not in the Tisanji wiki, or if you want to adapt a plant card to your growing method, you can create your own plant card. How many plant cards you can create depends on your license. Free licenses can create 5, poppy licenses can create 20, rosebush licenses can create 250, and so on. You can create your plant cards either from the drawing application or from the plants page. However, we recommend creating them from the plants page, which uses the entire screen, making the exercise more enjoyable. You can create a plant card from a blank card or from the card of an existing plant. Let's start by creating a plant card from an existing card. Choose a plant card in the wiki that comes from the same family as your new plant. Open the plant card in question and choose the plant icon with a plus sign. Enter the common name of your plant. You can see that the plant comes from your own library because it appears when you filter by the plants in your library. Once the plant has been created, you can modify the various fields on the plant card. To do this, open the plant card and select the pencil at the top of the card. To add a photo, press the blue button and select the file. Don't forget to indicate the author and license for those who would like to share their card in the public library. For text fields, the text in blue is inherited from the parent. You can decide whether to keep it or hide it. We have made an exception for the common name, Latin name, and French name fields, where the new fields will replace the old ones. You will notice that we offer several options for the distance between plants. In landscaping, the spacing at maturity is the most important distance. Spacing at sowing covers cases where you sow more densely and then thin out the spacing. Spacing between rows and within rows applies more to vegetable gardens. In terms of hardiness, you must indicate for each zone whether the plant can survive as a perennial or annual, and if it is a perennial, whether the foliage is evergreen. For attributes, you can select the ones you want. These will have a blue frame. To remove an attribute belonging to the parent card, you must select it to specify No. You will see a red frame because if you leave it unspecified, tisanji will take the attribute from the parent card. For warnings and properties, you must check the box or indicate the strength of the property if you want the text to appear. In the case of companion and enemy plants, start typing the name and you will be offered choices. Please note that changing the parent of a plant card will change all the blue text in your current card. Normally, all plants are linked from parents to children up to the plant family. So if you make a child of a plant card, make sure you always make children in the same family, otherwise the plant card will display the wrong family. You can add references and hyperlinks. To do this, highlight the word or words to which you want to add a reference, then press the left mouse button and choose URL or ref for references, respectively. You must choose from the references already in place. If your reference is missing from our list, use the discussion bubbles with technical support as the audience to request that your reference be added. Reference. If you add a hyperlink, you must also specify the language of the article or video to which your hyperlink points. Modifying or adding a task to the calendar. The tisanji calendar is a calendar that adapts to frost dates, so all dates are either linked to this or to another task that is linked to it. First, make sure that your calendar shows the correct frost risk end date. Check that the periods in blue corresponds to your reality. If this is not the case, move the blue snowflake to the top of the calendar. See the tutorial Adjust Your Calendar to Your Climate. If you have a date such as May 10th for the start of a task, you must first convert this date to a week in May. Here, the second week of May. Then calculate this week in relation to the last frost date. For example, I'm in Montreal. My last frost date is the third week of May, so my date will be 1 week before the last spring frost risk date. We are now ready to change the start of the task in the calendar. Simply click on the small pencil next to the task and specify the start date of the task. Adding a task to the calendar. Before adding a new task, display all the tasks to make sure that your task is not already there. For example, we could add a pruning task after flowering. We add a pruning task and choose the end of the flowering period as the start date. For example, we could say 1 week after the end of flowering, and for the end of the pruning period, we could say 3 weeks after the end of flowering. You have now almost finished your card, but be careful. When you start with a pre-filled card, often we tend to just modify the few fields of interest when we choose the plant. But your plant may not have the same medicinal or edible properties as its parent's plant card. It is your plant card and your responsibility to check the information. Share your plant cards with the community. Creating a plant card is a task that, if done thoroughly, can take a considerable amount of time. If you believe you have done thorough research, you can submit your card to the public library for reviewers and proofreaders who will validate that the profile is complete, written in proper English, and contains validated data. If necessary, the reviewers and proofreaders will contact you to verify certain points. Check the notes below the video for the criteria to ensure that your card complies with copyright law, provides safe information, and meets Tisanji's quality criteria. We reserve the right to refuse a card that does not meet our standards. You will then keep your card in your personal library where you can improve it and resubmit it. Only accounts with a paid license can submit plants to the public library. Starting with a blank card. Creating a plant card from scratch is essentially the same process, except that you start from the plant icon with a plus sign next to the search by the name field. There will naturally be a greater number of minimum fields to fill in when creating a new plant, namely the name, type, mature size, and color. Once created, you can add all the information related to the plant card, so it takes longer to complete a plant card from scratch than a model plant. That being said, if you keep the plant for your personal use, it is not necessary to fill in all the fields, but only those that interest you and for which you want to use the search filters or tasks in your calendar.